Hey guys, it's a beautiful day for music. It's a wonderful day for sound. Come on and learn this lick with me. So right here in the beginning, this lick is primarily going to be based off of triplets with a few kind of 16th notes in there. So super easy here today. Basically for the first beat, I have just straight up singles, right? So right, left, right, and the right hand or the third partial of that triplet is a rim shot. Now something just to keep in mind with rim shots here right from the beginning is even though it's a different timbre, even though I have to sort of drop my hand a little bit to get that piece of the rim and the drum head, I do not want to sort of choke off the stick in the resonance or change my actual stroke by sort of squeezing my hand. It'll be a little bit difficult for me to show you that here, but you'll just have to believe that I'm not actually adding sort of a hand pump or a hand articulation when I'm actually playing that rim shot. So here, let's try that first, just 3 counts going to that downbeat tool, which will be on the left hand. We'll go this fast. Triplet 2, ready, and triplet 2, ready, and triplet 2, da ba ba, do do pa on, di 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 da, do do pa on, yes, di 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 da, do do pa on, nice and relaxed, do do pa on, and just to check yourself, see what kind of pressure you have in your hand without playing that shot. And then add that shot back in. Ba, ba, dee, da, da, no shot this time. Da, da, add the shot. One more time. Beautiful. Now, notice we ended here on the left hand. And what's going to happen is I have this da, 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 da kind of rhythm happening here. So 8th note, 2 16th notes, and another 8th note. Of course, all still based in that triplet construct. So what I like to do with figures like this, because notice there's some accents in there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top-down approach for this one, right? I have 2 or 3 different ways I like to break these down. I have the bottom-up approach where I start with no accents and everything's nice and small, and then I have the top-down approach. So for this one, I'm going to take the top-down approach. So that means I'm going to have all of the notes nice and high, and then I'm going to sort of lower the ones that are unaccented notes or taps. So I have this particular rhythm. Dum, 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 dum. Once again, starting on that left hand. 2, ready, and da, 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 da. Ready, and left, right, left. Yeah, ready, and da, 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 da. Very nice. And da, 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 da. And when I'm doing this, I want to take particular note of that left hand path. Ready, and ready, and speaking of left hand path, it's one of my favorite pages. I'm not sure if he's actually on YouTube, but go check him out on Instagram, Left Hand Path. He has a bunch of resources as far as books and warm-ups and licks and things. Really cool page. He's not paying me to do this or anything. I just think he's doing really cool stuff out there. Anyways, so what I'm looking at here is keeping that same left hand motion when I'm playing this business. Da 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 da, dee da dee dee da dee da 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 da. And I'm thinking about having that same kind of rebound even when I start to bring this right hand down. So let's try it this time with the right hand notes all unaccented. But in my brain, I'm still going to have all of the notes sounding nice and even. Da, 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 da. Ready? And. 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 Da, 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 da. Almost. Ready? And. Da, 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 da. One more time. Ready? And. Da, 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 da. Beautiful. Now, let's go back here and add on the very first count. So I have bo, bo, ta, da, 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 da. Do, do, ta, da, 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 da. 2. Ready? And. Do, do, ta, da, 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 da. Again. Do, do, ta, da, 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 da. Again. Do, do, ta, da, 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 da. Nice relaxed right hand on that shot, and then still rebounding those left hands when we have the right hand that comes down. Let's move along here. So in this next measure, I just have 2 accented notes and the third one is unaccented. So triplet, and then I have an accented flam on the downbeat. So triplet flam. What I'm looking for here is to make sure that my right hand is rebounding nice and smooth, and then that first left hand that I have here, triplet, that is nice and sort of downstrokey, but without becoming too harsh and too closed down. So the stick definitely stays down, but I don't want to squeeze in order for the stick to stay down. So my hand has to sort of retain its shape. Notice that I'm not really opening up my fingers on a situation like this, because then I have to do something drastic to sort of clench back down, and that's really going to start to change my tonality and my sound, especially on an actual drum. So I want to be very specific with making sure that I keep very similar hand pressure here, going from this first note to that little grace note, and it's really going to help me out. So let's try just that one count. Bo bo da flam. Ready and go, and flam. Rebound that right hand. Flam. Ready and go, and 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 flam. Ready and flam. Ready and flam. Ready and ready and da 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 da. 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 Beautiful. Let's take that back now and take it from the top. So do do check da 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 bra. 2. Ready and do do check da 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 bra. 2. Ready and do do check da 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 bra. 2. Ready and do do check da 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 bra. 2. Ready and do do check da da bra. 2. Ready and do do check da bra. 2. Ready and do do check da bra. Beautiful. Now, in this next particular count, I just have regular old flam taps. Now, the thing here that makes the lick sort of cool a little bit is that it's going to feel like a little burst of energy, a little bit of sweet with that sour kind of injected into the middle of these triplets here. So that little set of flam taps is easy on its own, right? Relatively, if you have problems with your flam taps, go back, check out some of the chop out videos, check out some of the beginning videos on this page. It'll really help you out. Just do them basically open to close, which I do have a video a little bit further back, but I do have a video on the page for that. But with this particular business, you have to be very specific with the rhythm change of going from that triplet idea into the flam tap here. So let's immediately start to practice that. We don't need to sort of isolate the flam taps here. So I'm going to take it back one beat, and I'm going to practice the triplet pa 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 ta 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 triplet flam tap right? And what I'm going to do is just make sure in my head when I'm singing it, I can sing it flat. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. I don't have to sing it with the flams in mind. I don't have to sing it with even the accents in mind. I can sing it sort of agnostic to the ornamentation that's on top of it, right? And stuff. So let's try that just a few times. Da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. Remember that starts on the left. And da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. Right? And even here, I can tell that my sticks aren't necessarily doing exactly what I want them to do. So, and by that, I mean, I feel like I'm rushing the third partial here. Da, 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 right? And my mouth and my brain, being that I'm singing it flat and I don't hear the ornamentation or those accents that's on top of it, that's the thing that's giving me that red flag. It's like, wait, that note isn't lining up, and I can check it against something that has a more basic sort of part. So that's what's giving me that little red flag in there to make sure that I can go back and sort of really pay attention to that when I take it. So let's take this back now and add that business on, add the flam taps on from the beginning. So I have football pip pop bagadum da bako ba da 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 2 ready and football pip pop bagadum da 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 2 ready and da 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 da. A little bit better. Ready and da 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 da. 2 ready and football pip pop bagadum da 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 da. 2 ready and football pip pop bagadum da 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 da. Very nice. Ready and da 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 da. 2 ready and da 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 da. Very nice. One more time. Da 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 da. Cool. So what happens on this next particular count here is I have that downbeat, which is a flam, and then I have an eighth note rest, once again still in triplets, and then I start this sort of roll passage right on the third partial, or sort of the upbeat of this triplet, right? What I'm really looking to do here, and the reason I sort of wrote it the way it's on the screen, is it's going to feel like a quasi crescendo sort of action. You'll probably even notice if you check out some of my marching percussion writing lessons that are up. I know it's sort of long format, but one of the things I talk about in there is how to arrange things in order to make it seem a certain way to an audience that's not necessarily the way that it seems on the page. So this is actually one of the ways that I write crescendos. I'm sort of heavily leaning on the last partial, or the very last part that's pushing into the next thing. It's going to naturally feel like it's sort of not necessarily like ripping at the end, but it's going to feel like the energy is pushing more right sort of towards the end when you want that particular kind of effect here. So this is one of those. So I have triplet. When I come back in on the third partial of that triplet, that will be on the right hand. So I have right, right, left, right, left, right. Let's just try it with the check a few times, and then we'll add on the doubles. 2, ready, and right, right, left, right, left, right. Again, 2, ready, and ba 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 ba. Again, ready, and ba 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 ba. My bad. 2, ready, and right, right, left, right, left, right. Yes, 2, ready, and ba 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 ba. Notice, by the way, in my brain, I'm still singing and I'm still hearing the space of that little eighth note triplet rest that's in there. I'm still singing through that. So in my head, this sort of check is still happening. Da 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 da. Even though the part is da 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 da. I still hear this going on in the background, and that's one of the things that's going to keep me accurate. And once again, it's one of the things that's going to check my hands, because I know that my brain can be way more correct before my hands will be correct. So it's sort of a push and a pull kind of check and balance that's going on here. So let's actually add on the doubles here. So I have da 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 da. With that left hand, making sure, even though it's getting bigger, the actual quality and the evenness of that double still has to be the same. We can't sacrifice the integrity of the rhythm just because it gets bigger. Let's try it. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, da 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 da. And da 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 da. 2, da 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 da. 2, da 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 da. I like it. Ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. Beautiful. Let's take that back now to the actual flam tap. So I have da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. 2, ready, and da 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 da. two, ready, and. Two, and. Beautiful. Now, let's back that business up and take it all the way from the top. Two, three, and. Two, ready, and. Yeah. And even I could have a little bit more push, a little bit more sting right on that last triplet. And things. I'll make sure I sort of think about that the next time I take it. For this next actual pattern here, I have just a basic 16th note, right? That idea. And inside of that business, I have just two sets of doubles. It's going to feel kind of like a 6-stroke roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That's how it's gonna feel here. The super important part when you're doing something like this, because it's gonna feel a little bit quick, because you're really gonna have to engage the front parts of your fulcrum to make sure that you can really push through those little doubles in time. So let's take that figure just slowly kind of open to close a little bit, just so we can kind of work it up, and then we'll kind of add it into the mix. So starting this fast, da dee da da ah ah. Yes. And when we're going this slow, it's not a huge deal as far as activating the front part of your fulcrum. Well, as we get a little bit quicker, making sure I relax my shoulders, making sure I'm breathing, making sure those small notes stay nice and down, keeping that angularity of the doubles there, making sure I don't slur them. Yeah. So and if you have sort of problems with that type of thing, just go back through, and when you get to the point that you feel like you're kind of playing them almost like as sixes, as opposed to ba ta 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 ta, as opposed to that particular figure, sort of clock that speed, go back with your metronome and start it, 5 clicks underneath that, and then just try to bump it up a little bit with still keeping clarity of your mind as far as the actual rhythm, and then bring it back down and sort of check yourself, and then push it back up a little bit, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you can hear it and know how it feels to play it in that sort of concrete, rhythmic, mathematical sort of fashion, as opposed to kind of slurring some of those rhythms there. So let's go back then and add that business on, starting right at this rhythm, the ba, that business, right? And let's just take those 3 counts by itself, nice and slow. Ba, 2, ready, and ba, 2, ready, and ba, 2, and ba, 2, yeah, ready, and ba, 2, ready, and 2, yep, ready, and 2, ready, and yeah. Now let's move along here. On the count right after this, it's gonna feel like things are crazy slowing down, because you have this basic just triplet, quasi kind of decrescendo. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Let's go into this next count here. All 3 of those are gonna be on my right hand, and then I'm ending on my left hand here. So triplet. And notice, while I'm taking that triplet here, I'm prepping for this next left hand. That's going to be nice and big, right? Triplet kind of leaning into that note. Ready and yeah, ready and yeah, ready and very nice. Ready and one more time. Cool. So for this next part, going all the way to the end here, I just have another one of these. This seems familiar from the beginning. Yes? And it's going to feel exactly the same way with that left hand rebounding. And then I just end up with 2/8 notes on the left hand, and then shot, bam, on the right hand. Nice, big, full, and fat, right? Once again, making sure I don't add any extra crazy pressure to my right hand as far as squeezing within my fulcrum system. Let's go back now and take those 3 counts. Pop, right? 2, ready, and 2, ready, and 2, ready, and 2, ready, and on 2, ready, and on 2, ready, and on, yeah. And once again, I'm able to sing it straight without the ornamentation, so that way I can always check it in my actual brain. Let's take that back now to the first part of the sort of roll section. So, going that fast. 2, ready, and make sure we're not rushing that 8th note at the end. 2, ready, and 2, ready, and beautiful. Let's take that a little bit faster. 2, ready, and 2, ready, and yeah. Now, let's take this all the way back to the beginning, focusing on a few very specific things. In the first 2 counts, making sure the left hands are nice and relaxed. After that, making sure we push through those 16th notes, not too much. Starting nice and small on the triplet roll here. Breaking out that left hand booty, nice and big. Making sure I engage the front part of my fulcrum on that sort of 6-stroke roll. Those. Relaxing my hand here, floating the left. And then big left hands. Waiting on this last 8th note. Wait, yeah? Let's take it from the top a few times, and then we'll be out of here. Going this fast. 2, ready, and 2, ready, and a little bit faster. 2, ready, and 2, ready, and yeah. One more time. 2, ready, and yeah. And even on that inside 6, I'm kind of slurring it a little bit. It'll definitely be something that I would have to kind of check out on my own, right? We all have our things to practice. Hopefully that was exciting for you. Hopefully you're liking what's happening on this page. If you do, go hit me up on the Patreon site, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuce.